30 years ago, I went to Judo, landed on somebody's fist, which meant I broke my neck at level C4. Various conditions have since come on from that. Before I had personal health budget was a nightmare. I had to contribute from my pensions. Bristol City Council paid for some, and then the Independent Living Fund. So it was 3 different organisations, which meant it was a nightmare. But once I got personal health budget, it was fantastic. I never looked back.
Once we receive a referral from the commissioners for someone who has requested to have a personal health budget, we make contact with that person. We gather, with their consent, we gather as much information as we can beforehand from medical records and from other health and social care records. Then we make contact and meet with the person themselves. And that's the most important part, is that we get to know them as an individual and their particular needs, because everyone will be really different. So we meet with them, listen to their story, and then together with the person, we develop a care package. So it's important that they have choice and control.
He's always had care in place, well, for the last sort of 8 years. However, he had funding from a company called ILF, or a charity, and gradually they withdrew. So they were taking the money away, which meant filling the shortfall. And every time we had a review, he would get really concerned. So when the district nurses came up with CHC funding, or personal health budget, we were a bit reluctant. We had a go and it was refused. The second time we really went for it. We had a lot of help with it, filling in the forms and so on and so forth. The forms, yeah, they are a bit daunting, but you have to do them. You have to do them, stick with it, fill them out, and you do get a lot of help along the way.
So in Phil's case, as he and Nikki have mentioned, I think they would say they had a fight to get the personal health budget agreed. Hopefully, because Phil was really one of the first people in Bristol to be given a personal health budget, and that's several years ago now, my feeling is that the process has changed a lot since then, and people would not have that difficult fight to get a personal health budget. If someone is eligible through having continuing healthcare funding, for instance, then they have a right to have a personal health budget. And that's where we come in and work with them and the commissioners to get that agreed. And hopefully it would be a much more streamlined process nowadays. The paperwork side of things, a lot of that we do ourselves now to take that pressure away from the person and their family.
As soon as it was agreed, it was like a weight was lifted off his shoulders. It meant we could keep active assistant. Yaroslava and Magda were 2 of his carers. They're like part of the family, and with the other funding being withdrawn, we were worried we would be able to keep them. They specialise in spinal injuries. They're trained, so they have all the know-how. They know what to look for. The thought of losing them it's not. You can't think of it.
It's really important to train our PAs to ensure that the person they're looking after is safe, and that they are safe themselves in whatever care is being provided. I have patients referred to me from the nurse assessor who's planned the training needs for that individual. I then contact the family member or the individual themselves, hopefully, to discuss how we approach the care, the training needs for that person. The training can be done at home or in an environment that is better suited to them.
So one of the important things about personal health budgets is that it's not just good for the person themselves and their family and carers, but actually it does in the long run save money. So some personal health budgets have been shown to save up to 15%. But one of the most important things is that it does improve the outcomes for the person themselves, their quality of life, their experience, and the way they lead their lives, which there's no, you can't attach a cost to that. Also, where people are receiving appropriate care and they're happy, living independently and successfully, often they will have less interventions with other health services, less contacts with the GP. that even their requirement for medication may change, and crucially, unnecessary admissions to hospital often are reduced, and each admission to hospital has a very high cost attached to it. So there's huge cost savings to be had there.
I had to call on my sister if there was an emergency, who was one of my carers, which she wasn't paid for. She would always be on 24-hour care cover. In case I had any problems through the night, I'd have to phone her. Once she had the funding, she instantly went back to being my sister. She could go home on a night time, not have to worry because I had living carers, which changed my life completely. I had a sister again. Family went back to being family again. I had daughters that never had to worry about dad not being looked after. My sister could go home and we had family back as family again. My mum, sadly she passed away a couple of years ago, but mum could go to bed and not have to worry because I could call my carers. Personal health budgets, I could thoroughly recommend. The difficult bit is getting them, but once you get them, it's life-changing.